Welcome to the Tax Sale Podcast, where tax sale investing is made easy. My name is Casey Denman. I'm a tax sale veteran. I'm the leading tax sale expert. I'm the author of the Tax Sale Playbook, founder of the Tax Sale Academy, and I am your host right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. As a reminder, this podcast is available on a number of different channels, including Spotify Video, YouTube, and anywhere that podcasts can be found. So if you enjoy watching or listening to this podcast, make sure you subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting or video platform. This also is a completely free podcast, which is brought to you through and because of the Tax Sale Academy, which you can check out by visiting our website at taxsaleacademy.com. All right, so as I've shared before, I get lots and lots of Instagram DMs. I get lots of emails, lots of comments, which I love receiving. Many of these are incredible questions or concerns, and just by the way that they are asked, I know that the person who is DMing me is on the right track. I know that the person is thoughtful. They've taken advantage of the educational materials that I provide, and of course, I am more than happy to help anybody. Unfortunately, however, some of these messages indicate to me that the person asking is approaching the tax sale business the wrong way, in a way that will provide very, very limited success, if any success at all. And oftentimes, these same people are the ones who will end up in a bad investment and lose money. Now, obviously, I admire every single person who is willing to take action, to do something, to get involved. But there is a right way and there is a wrong way. Today, we're going to be discussing the two most common wrong approaches when entering the tax sale business. Hopefully, it'll help to steer you in the right direction as you go on your quest for tax sale success. The first most common issue that I see is impatience. And this one is almost scary. I commonly hear from brand new tax sale investors that, end quote, just discovered tax sale investing and they want to get involved. So much so that they're attending an auction tomorrow and they're looking for last minute tips. My last minute tip to them is to find something else to do tomorrow instead of going to an auction and buying properties you know nothing about. I've told this story before, but I have a member inside the Tax Sale Academy. This member went through all the trainings. They really took everything seriously, did everything that I suggested, and they kept learning over and over and over again. They went to auctions. They practiced, not for a day, not for a week, not for a month, but for an entire year. This member did not make a single investment for an entire year. And then, within one 30-day period, they found two properties they wanted, and they bought both of them. The first one brought in tens of thousands of dollars in profit, and the other one they kept as a cash flow rental, producing over $1,000 per month in net income. The member went on to buy many properties afterwards and is full-time as a tax sale investor now. Obviously, you don't have to wait an entire year like this person did. In that situation, however, the person was rewarded for their patience. But a year is probably going to be too long for most people. The point is that you need to be patient with this business. Despite the fundamentals being somewhat simple, there are so many different layers to this business. There's a process that you must learn. There's laws to study. There's markets to research. There's strategies that you must learn about. There's a lot to this business. I have dozens and dozens and dozens of hours teaching on this topic inside the Tax Sale Academy. This is not a business where you watch 2 YouTube videos and suddenly you think you're an expert enough to go out and invest your hard-earned money into properties. It is going to take time to learn this business. On top of that, you also need to be patient with how you approach your investments. You do not need to force yourself to buy something. This is a huge issue that I see happening all the time with new investors. They go to an auction or two and they don't win a single property. Then they start getting a little bit antsy. And at a third auction, they're so impatient that they end up overpaying for a property. And they are guaranteed to lose money on it. Listen, There are auctions to this day that I attend and I don't buy properties at. And I've been in this business for over 20 years. There are months that go by without buying a single property. It's not a big deal. Your profitability is determined not when you sell that property, but when you buy it. If you buy that property correctly, you're going to make money. If you do not buy that property correctly, if you're impatient and force yourself into an investment, you will lose money. So it is paramount to your success that you are patient in this business. That's one of the most important traits that you must have if you want to be successful as a tax sale investor. The second wrong way that I see it approached, and it's very common, and that is through, well, just being lazy. And it might not be that the person is intentionally trying to be lazy. That's definitely how it can come across. This is not an easy business initially. It takes time. It takes time to be patient. It takes effort as well. And it takes lots and lots of effort. There's quite a bit to this business. And I promise you that you can absolutely learn it and you can absolutely be successful with it. But your effort is the prerequisite to that success. If you are not committed to investing the effort required, this likely is not going to be the business for you. One example of the wrong approach that I routinely see is people asking me to name the single most profitable county in the country right now. First off, that's like naming the single most profitable stock. It'll likely change within the hour. But secondly, it implies to me that that person has spent absolutely zero time thinking about or looking into the tax sale business. The single most profitable county in the country for me, it's not going to be the same one for you. It's not going to be the same one for the next guy or the next one or the next one. There are way too many variables at play. Available capital, desired strategy, location of the bidder, location of the properties, type of auction. The list goes on and on. So my response to this question is to start with the basics. Well, first of all, of course, you have to learn the basics. But once you know the basics, then decide on a strategy, choose a location, and begin researching previous auction results to see if that strategy is viable in that area or not. If you have to change areas to make it work, do it. If you have to change strategies to make it work, do it. The issue here is that it takes time and it takes effort. And a lot of people that get in this business are too lazy to put forth that time and that effort. Now, you taking the time to watch this video or to listen to this podcast, you're probably not one of those people, but I want you to understand it does take effort. Another common issue that I see revolves around tax sale research on multiple levels. One of the things that I tell every single investor to do is to read through the tax sale laws in the area that they are investing in. Now, if I was to take a poll about who has done this, I would say less than 5% of my viewers actually take the time to do this. Why? It's boring. Sure, I get it, right? But these laws are the playbook to our business. They are what allows us to exist. That should be the very first thing that you do. And then, of course, when it comes to tax sale research on a specific property level, it is rarely deep enough for new investors. It definitely was not deep enough for me. I got hosed on a number of deals where I made huge mistakes. Then I learned from those mistakes. They were very costly mistakes. But valuing properties, taking a look at condition, the kind of stuff that is obvious, you probably are going to do, right? It is so crucial, though, that you dig deeper. Your goal should be to know every single thing possible about any property that you are investing in. Know the history of that property. Know all about the condition of that property. Call the county to make sure there's no liens and stuff like that against the property when it comes to code enforcement type stuff. You should know that your research alone is what will determine your results. And putting forth the effort does not mean you have to figure it out all on your own. I already did this for you through years and years of trial and error. If you want to train yourself, if you want to invest the time to learn this business property, the opportunity is there for you. There is more training information on the tax sale business right now available online than any other time in history. I personally have hundreds and hundreds of videos when when it comes to learning the tax sale business. Somewhere around 900 videos, like 1 million views or somewhere in that ballpark. I produce more training on this topic than anybody else in the world. Simply go to my YouTube channel. Start with some of the playlists like Tax Sale Basics and then learn from there. I even have some people from time to time that will start with my very first video a decade ago, and they'll watch all my videos in order over the matter of a week or so. So what I'd actually recommend doing instead of doing that is go to Tax Sale Basics, learn the basics of this business, and then utilize that search bar inside of my YouTube page and get clarification on whatever you need clarification on to fill in the gaps. Now, you can also grab my book, Tax Sale Playbook. It is $5, and that helps me to cover shipping. It is an incredible starting point. Now, it's funny because some people are like, oh, he's just out here trying to sell books. Let me get something straight. The fact is, I do not make a single dime off of this book. I actually lose money on every single one of them. You can figure out how much it costs to ship and how much it costs to print, and that is a lot more than at $5 that I charge for the book. So it's not about selling books. It's about educating new investors so they don't screw up as bad as I did in my early years of this business. But the book is an incredible place to start if you want to learn. And of course, if you do want the advanced step-by-step, easy-to-follow training and strategies, where I've invested thousands of hours into creating this training program for you, it's available at taxsaleacademy.com. But I say all this not to sell anything. Again, there's lots and lots of information on the internet that is not mine that you can learn from. Now, you might want to vet it. You want to make sure that the person actually knows what they're talking about. But there's lots of ways to learn. It's so crucial that you take the time, you take the effort to learn this business. The tax sale business, in my opinion, is the most incredible business on the face of the earth. I've been involved in it for 20 years, and I've been teaching for over a decade now. I can honestly say that I've seen so many lives change because of this business. But every single one of those people who have made huge changes in their lives did so by putting forth two things: patience and effort. So as you begin or perhaps even continue your career in this business, make sure that you are disciplined enough to be patient and you're willing to put in the effort. If you are absolutely going to see positive results for years and years to come. If you enjoyed this episode or any of our episodes here on the Tax Sale Podcast, do me a huge favor and leave some positive feedback on whatever podcasting platform you are listening to us on right now. And as always, if you want to learn in a step-by-step comprehensive manner, check out taxsaleacademy.com. Take care and make it a successful day. We'll see you next time right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Bye-bye.